he could have played, a la tempo. Okay. Well, it's tough because we've got this great choice. Watching the legend Garry Kasparov.
I think we have to.
Playing against our tournament.
Look at that long castle.
The castle's long.
Look at that long castle.
Now, by the way, that came with a sprightly castles, as G4, G3 is an absolutely devastating threat.
We're staying with this game.
Yeah, we got.
This one is hitting up.
This is definitely fun, and I'll bring it up on my board.
G3, wow. G3, knight to F1. Now, there's that G takes F2 on tap to solidify the opponent. That's what he's going for.
That's what he's going for. He's got all kinds of mating net kind of ideas after King H2.
He senses it. You can feel it in his alarm.
It's about the clock. I mean,
it is about the clock.
I thought knight G4 check might have been Gary's idea.
Oh my goodness, that would have been such a beautiful move. I'm not sure if it works.
I know, it's searching for Mona Lisa. But by the way, isn't E5 simply hanging?
Well, there's a rook on E4. Right now, there's a rook on E4.
Knight takes E5?
There's a knight on F5. Right now, let's wait and see. He played the move knight to F5. Yes, you are correct. Knight takes E5.
But I think Garry is looking for an opportunity to play H4 and knight G3.
Precisely.
What? Oh, I mean, Garry, by the way, MVL is considered one of the fastest players I've ever seen playing 1 minute. When he comes to St. Louis, he puts on a clinic against a lot of the local grandmasters, offering them odds of 2-1 on 2 minutes to 1 and 3 minutes to 1.
Knight to C4, defending that pawn on E5 is going to be met by B5.
Are you sure?
I believe so.
I really
Maybe not.
I want to latch down with H5, H4, so that I always have knight coming to G3. Gary, what's Gary's time?
Gary's time, 45 seconds against 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Gary, you can't just think.
B5.
You were right. You were right.
He's going for it. Knight to D6, knight to E3 played. Wow.
Okay. Knight takes E3 and rook takes E5. He's done that too.
I don't like these exchanges.
Oh, F5, rook takes F2. That was, well, I'm not going to say the pride of the position. So many trumps for Garry, but losing that F2 pawn, was that the right technique?
I don't think so. No, and I have to say I'm starting to like White's chances. Of course, Black should be better in this position. The question is how much better.
Pardon me, A2, A4.
That's exactly what he went for.
Open up the queen side.
A takes B5, A takes B5, King takes F2.
By the way, what is this rook on H8 doing? What
Not
is the
much.
rook on E5 doing?
Rook to
Oh,
E4.
let's trade. But that doubles up the pawns. The knight on E3 is a stout defender, that's for sure.
And he took that.
Trade.
Problem is that those pawns on the king side right now, that pawn on
Now,
H5,
King
lonely.
F4 is a very, very big threat. King H4 would allow rook to D2. I don't think Maxime can essay that trade of the D2 pawn for the H pawn.
He's thinking about rook to F1, I think. Rook to E1. Okay.
Okay, he's setting up for a discover to hit against the pawn on E4. Now Gary's thinking, if you move your knight, knight F5 check.
14 seconds for Garry, 40 seconds for MVL.
Okay, but Gary's winning this. This is, he should be cruising now with King C6. And knight F5 check. Garry, boy, he played that. And knight D6 check. That's the winning idea.
Knight to D6, the king is going to drop back to G3,
and
defending
then
that invasion on
King
F2.
No.
King to E5.
Oh,
going
this
in.
is the kind of move that causes you to pause, and when you have no time on the clock, it's easy to miss. Move rook D4. Oh, Garry.
What is happening?
What did he do? Did he spoil it?
Knight F7, king takes E6. We're going to see knight to G5, and then the capture on the pawn on D2.
Which is what he's got in mind. And now rook E2. Oh, this king on E5 looks good. Rook takes H takes G5, Rook takes E3.
I'm not inspired by Gary's play so far.
Doesn't feel like the technique, but now you take the
on
knight.
E3.
Ooh. The pawn is fast. Whoa,
Oh
Garry.
no, Rook.
Garry. E3, D2. No.
Oh no.
He spoiled it. He has spoiled it. And no time on the clock. Oh, I think Garry had a dominating position.